Hi, welcome to Knowledge Cosmic. I'm Ricky Bobby, and let's get this video started. From a billionaire weapons maker, ladies man, and a playboy to the ever-famous Iron Man, the character of Tony Stark goes through numerous phases as a hero and has the best, if not one of the best, character developments in the entire MCU. Often considered by critics and fans as the best Marvel movie, Iron Man had a sequel released in 2010 named Iron Man 2. The movies feature Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. In this video, I will be taking you through the life story and character development of Tony Stark in his first two Iron Man movies. So without further ado, let's head into the video. The movie has a lead character of Tony Stark, who is a billionaire businessman and has a huge ego, which is evident throughout the films. Tony is the head of a company that makes and sells highly crafted in the latest weapons to the army to help fight against their enemies and in Afghanistan. His priorities are evident at the start of the film when he is not present to receive an award for the best weapon maker and is instead gambling at a casino with a few ladies. His friend collects the award and brings it to him, and he laughs at the award, saying, "Where would I keep it? I do not have a place at home for this." Tony's cocky nature is well evident from the starting scenes, and as a reporter asks him if he regrets selling his weapons and causing harm to the people, Tony replied confidently that he is satisfied by what he does and does not give a dime thought about it. Tony is also a ladies' man, as we could see him sleeping with the reporter moments later. Which, such a handsome face, fit body, and elegant beard style, why would he not be? Keeping aside his billion-dollar company and his intelligence, being a great businessman, Tony is actually a genius and is one of the smartest people in the MCU and Marvel Comics both. He's in the top 4 or 5, and actually he's so smart that he can multitask all the time and still create amazing things. He went to MIT and graduated at 18 with a degree in engineering. In the real world, he could be called the MCU's version of Elon Musk in a way. However, a major twist comes in the character of Tony goes through a haul as he suffers drastically on his tour to Afghanistan. He was meeting with high-ranking military officials for the United States and gave a demonstration of his newest weapon, the Jericho missile. When the convoy was heading back to base, they were ambushed and they told him don't get out of the vehicle, but Tony, being cocky and everything, got out of the vehicle, and that's when rocket propelled grenade or RPG, basically bazooka, and a lot of shards went through his bulletproof vest into his body and were always trying to find its way to his heart to kill him. So when the 10 Rings kidnapped him and kept him in a cave, they actually had another captive who was a very smart doctor who did makeshift surgery on him and created a miniature arc reactor after Tony was stable to put in his chest to keep all those metal shards from reaching his heart. A little bit later, we see him, what the 10 Rings think is he's making them a Jericho missile, but he ends up making the first Iron Man suit, since the miniature arc reactor in his chest was able to power something big for 15 minutes. Once Tony returned to his country of United States, he is a changed person, and he straight away orders to close the productions of his factories to stop building weapons due to what he saw as a captive and everything, that he made weapons for the soldiers to protect the soldiers, but it's also being used to kill innocent people. His father's close friend and co-owner of the company, Ebediah State, ends up being a huge thorn in his behind, and ends up at the end of the movie fighting Tony on his decision to close all weapons factories, and ends up losing and dying after a intrinsic and worth watching fight that is amazing, not just for the choreography, but also for the reasons behind it, and was the first major fight for any character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The fight scenes are not cliche and are much more enjoyable and realistic. Tony, however, comes out with the fight victorious and arranges a press conference, which he ends with the greatest thing ever. He says his famous words, "I am Iron Man," in the entire area of people that are there and reporters and everything just all jump up, shocked, which brought the movie to a very memorable ending, probably one of the best endings for any movie. After that, he once again was returned to his egotistical and nonchalant lifestyle, boasting his abilities and the superpower inside of him. Not to forget, we get to see immense heroics from Tony throughout the film and his brain genius, which helps him improve the suit and add the necessary changes to it, which he couldn't do while building one in a cave. Iron Man 2 starts right after the first part ended. The news of Tony Stark announcing himself as Iron Man on TV, and at watching it on TV was a man by Ivan Vanko, who hates the Stark family for something that happened between his dad and Tony's dad, Howard. Ivan is, like I said, the son of Tony's father's friend and co-worker, and promised his dad, who was dying, that he would avenge the death of his father, and makes a will to kill Tony. On the other hand, Tony can be shown flexing his suit and superpowers to a huge audience, as he claims now his suit will aid him in fulfilling his father's dream to build a new city. Tony's life changes once again when he is summoned by the court with Congress members in it, and they ask him to hand over his super suits and everything with it to the army. Tony, being cocky and arrogant, stands up and says he will not do it, and that he officially privatized world peace, and that they couldn't have the suits at all. Tony further boasts how he has been working on this for years and been under various experiments to prove its worth. Tony is further involved in a huge fight with his friend James Rhodey Rhodes, who ends up in the second Iron Man movie becoming the superhero War Machine, or Iron Patriot, whichever one you want to call him as. The fight ends with a huge blast as while Tony was hammered, Rhodey tried stopping a party because he was inebriated and just kept doing the craziest things, and would throw on his Iron Man gauntlet around his one hand and shoot blasts at like glasses that are getting thrown in the air and hitting them. Rhodey goes downstairs and grabs a spare Iron Man suit and comes upstairs, and the two of them get into a huge fight, and they end up destroying half the house when they shot beams at each other, and the beams like caught each other and exploded, causing a huge blast. At the end of the second movie, in the climactic battle, Tony has another fight with the main villain, Ivan Vanko, and ends up killing him with the help of his friend Rhodey, because Ivan was approached by Justin Hammer of Hammer Industries to help build suits to overtake Tony Stark. He ended up using the same technique with Rhodey to, like they did at the party, to be able to destroy all the drones and everything, which further proves Tony Stark's intelligence and how he ends up on the front despite being down and out. Tony also, by the end of the movie, understands that he now has to act as a symbol of justice alongside providing it. He also narrows down his closest comrades and his relationship with his secretary, Virginia, also known as Pepper Potts, and named her the new CEO of Stark Industries. Tony also comes to know about the vision and plantings of his late father through recorded videos from many years prior by his dad, which were locked up by Nick Fury, who's the head director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not going to try to say what each letter stands for. It's a super long name. And Nick Fury tries to bring Nick Fury, after giving Tony the videos and stuff from his father, he also goes over and ends up able to create a new element in his basement. Like, it's insane. The movie Iron Man 2 also introduces and does a great job of it a new major character into the MCU and longtime Avenger in the comics, Natasha Romanoff, also known as Black Widow. Throughout the movie, Tony has to fight many different types of battles, and because the palladium that was in the arc reactor in his chest was killing him, and it was getting worse and worse, and it looked like there was a Tetris game showing on his chest around the arc reactor, but really it was the poisoning. And he had to fight Congress and his best friend Rhodey and Ivan twice, because Ivan came up with his initial weapon and was able to cut Tony's Formula 1 car in half while he was going so fast. The movie ends with Tony getting a medal from the senator who just doesn't like Iron Man and makes a funny comment. Says, "Oh, I'm sorry. No, it hurt. Nothing like getting poked by a little prick." You know, what Tony actually asked the same senator that was arguing with him from the Senate hearing earlier in the movie to do the pin onto him, because just to piss him off a little bit. To sum it all, Tony Stark's character can be defined as a confident and arrogant billionaire who can be termed as a bit selfish. He's a billionaire, genius, playboy, philanthropist. However, he keeps his friends closer, and there's no doubt about his abilities both as a futuristic engineer and as a superhero, as he proved it all in the first 2 movies. Well, that was all from the channel today. Do not forget to comment down below, and while you're heading out, to make sure to subscribe to the channel, as it helps us greatly. Thank you. Have a nice day. This is Ricky Bobby signing out.